Making friends is hard. God knows I can tell you that through experience. Although, luckily, I don't believe any of my old friends you wanted to get on all fours and beg to be my dog. Even as a joke, that might be going too far. Start off with something small like a hamster. Actually, human-sized running wheel actually kind of sounds quite fun. But knowing some of the characters in Komi, it's not going to end there. We're going to see quite a few others. You know, the people in the classroom so far have already shown themselves to be a little peculiar. What kind of eccentricities will get announced in this one? Ah, the eye test. You know, the not really knowing for certain that would be me. So, left. Getting an eye test by itself would be difficult enough with people standing at the doorway, keeping an eye on your every move, but having the inability to speak as well. And that's how you get a wrong prescription. Actually, that does remind me, I need to get my eyes tested. Those glasses are far too old. Plus, they're bent, if you haven't noticed. But I would say this entire show so far looks just so much better than it had, right to be. When I heard that Komi was getting an anime, I kind of expected it to go wrong. Like it'd just be an easy cash grab due to the popularity that it saw. Well, over here on the West, it got popular. I'm not sure how big it was in Japan. Yeah, actually legitimately labelled as a god now. Okay. Who? Ah, a lifelong enemy has been born. Seated height? Seated height. That's something that gets measured? Oh yes. Beat someone for biological factors that they have no way of controlling. She must have bribed them. Unfair. How many people are going to be going home with some sort of some sort of injury? Should other people be allowed into the room? I mean, you'd know this one just by standing near them. The sheer terror of someone just flagellating themselves in the middle of the room with you. What? You're gonna find a new life somewhere. Completely average. I mean, that's nothing to really complain about. Sometimes not standing out is in itself something to compliment. None whatsoever. How ordinary? If this is ordinary, then society is ruined. It's teetering on the brink of collapse just from one awkward glance. Although recent events is pretty much what it is anyway. A little bit overbearing. Almost as bad as some other characters in a other show, like Kobayashi. That will be a treasured family heirloom. She needs help. So badly. Now, I know there are people who buy, like, celebrities' hair and whatnot off of the internet. But that is, Yo! Run. And no one else is good enough. That kind of... that thinking where only herself is worthy. How highly does she regard herself? What a backhanded compliment. I hope you've noticed your mistake. You need to work on yourself by several magnitudes before you're worthy, yeah? She has so many more issues than I first realised. Some people get a little, obsessive. Only when it suits them, apparently. Really selling his or her soul easily for protection. To be fair, it's probably the right call. What is this? What is this guitar? Really having to... I think years and years of lack of any therapy is what causing this. But considering her first day she wasn't able to eat lunch, maybe it's not too bad. But also, how dare she sit in her friend's seat? The little angel of conscience, Tadano, who, by the way, is still missing. What a graceful victory dance. And really, the face that people show to others compared to, their actual self. What is she going to do if he's missing? Can't translate. Whatever makes him happy. Really? A 24 reference? You see, you definitely seen these kind of things before, but how does anyone get to this state? Ding, ding, ding. That might be. There might be an issue going to her place. I'm sure it was a mutual understanding, a true back and forth conversation. Ah, okay, accepted. How many times have you been dragged along to an occasion against your knowledge just by someone inviting you in your place? A true dilemma. But she's going to have to really run to be able to clear everything up. Unfortunately, it will take more than a minute to clear mine. She's come to make sure he's staying quiet. The sea is pretty, but drowning is an issue. Really. Well, at least is he going to be left with a open casket? Help me. A single tear, a ray of hope. After hearing someone's wardrobe crash and bang like that, can anyone sit back, not do anything? That is actually some threats go completely ignored. Of course, you've got to. What was that? You've got to set the atmosphere correctly. What an evening they're having. We were worried before about people overplaying their, being submissive. She's hit the nail on the mark there, but... And he's aware. But, this is a little much. Separating people into this class-based system is really done wonders for all over the world. By her own accord, she's the best. Completely ignorant of her own flaws. Is Komi aware of the situation of what's going on? It was her social issues. Actually, that's probably the best way out of it. Some of the faces being pulled here is really nicely done in the way of being creepy. In the middle of a crisis. Give me a second. I need to write my response. And I think that's the best way of completely pulling apart her argument there. Also, where's Nishima? Did you have to close the door? And I think, yeah, the inability to talk in a situation like that, believing that she is unwilling to even talk to her. It's all over the place. It's hard to get a read on her. What has he done? What's happened? He's been a victim of kidnapping. This is serious. It's gotten that bad. Once again, though, it's someone with Tadano's stature thinking it's something he did, when in reality it's holy shit. I barely remember a line or two of what she said. I guess when you can't interject, you gotta be quick with your penmanship. True, what if they didn't find him? Out of worry and care for them. I don't want to see you hurt, which in this world is very likely. But with the music kicking in, using her own words against her. So many storylines and misunderstandings could have been cleared up in so many shows. Should someone just be given the opportunity to to come out and explain themselves. They've both been through a hell of a lot today. We got a syllable. She's come so far. How could we not be so proud of our little Komi being able to utter a complete sentence? And all it took was a near-death experience for one of them. Really, cutting through the tension right then. Well, yeah, I wonder what she would have to say. She what, got swept up in the moment? How much of this is actual genuine regret? Now it just needs to spread throughout the rest of the class. Considering they all look down so much on him. Hi. Why do you have the cooking chopsticks with you then? Is that just a common a staple of school equipment? Even with explaining, it's not enough. How could something like that be to the perfect Komi? How could she have such a flaw? The more you get to know someone. I mean, part of her personality you've got to at least commend. How she can switch on a dime like that, but... She's waiting for an invitation. In a situation like this, well, which is the safer option? You need to change yourself completely, but maybe. I like how, even in her fantasy, the image of what she has of Komi there just didn't change. Good, Nishima. Consoling such a hapless criminal. It's not over. Does he get a better plot of land than the woods this time, though? But through the threat of life and limb, what can we really expect going forward? Apart from anxiety-driven stomach ulcers and nightmares. And there's obsession, and then there's obsession. When your willingness to get close to someone transcends misdemeanors is already concerning, but straight on felony cases and kidnapping, abduction, maybe you can even class attempted murder in there. And with those physical test results, measuring height and weight, yeah, understandable. Seated height, that's the first time I've ever heard of that. What kind of benefits can be garnered from measuring someone sitting down, other than figuring out the ratio of their torso to their legs? And I would also question how she can just both snatch Tadano off of the street and no one even batting an eye. Then I remember people just generally don't pay attention to what's going on anyway. But also sneak him into a house. Just how terrifying is her aura for Tadano not to try to run away or scream or anything? It led up to this situation, that was quite funny, so let's leave it as that. Also, the amount of rope and the style of binding him there to the chair, not very efficient. There's better ways of going about it. And I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but I used to have to translate for my brother because I can't remember if he just refused to speak properly or couldn't. So having someone like Tadano there to be that interpreter, very, very useful. Because we already know that people struggle. I mean, just cast your memory back to the coffee shop and the order there. Also, what would happen if she ever loses the notebook or the pencil? Maybe after this experience, she can get herself a hardback notebook to use, because there might not always be a floor to write on. But one more episode down, one more friend ticked off the list. At this rate, well, we might get somewhere. But assuming it doesn't plateau at any point, the case of making friends, especially for Komi, might snowball as soon as the word spreads that she's actually quite easy to approach and would like friends. As soon as that gets out there, the offers will come rolling in, for better and worse. I'm sure you'll be very eager to see that, as I would too. So if you enjoyed this episode, let me know. Leave a like on the video, maybe even a comment down below. But if you don't want to miss out, especially future episodes, consider subscribing. But for now, once again, check your closets, cupboards, under your bed, anywhere where someone might have been stowed away. And I'll see you in the next one. Just at least give them some food and drink. My patrons are like the tightly binding ropes holding me down to make sure that I stay here watching anime. And if you want to be the overly threatening chopsticks to this situation, consider joining onto my Patreon as well. There, alongside Electric Ant, Noku, Raywin, Kite, Sal, Shiwan, Mats, Mwaha, Stinsfire, Girly, Grey 19, Soltitron, Cardboard, Croyville, Jennifer Rojas, Alvin Garcia, Santiago, Di Fiero, Dark Shadow 7899, Defender of Segs, Gintman, Finesse Kid, Luis Rivero, Maurizio Lascano, Eddie Swanson, and everyone else, I am very fearful for my life. No, wait. I just have to watch anime. So I am very fearful for my life.